Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 130, Whoring of the Tombs. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and incorrigible Dungeon Master, Michael Corley. And with me tonight is James. James, tell everyone who you'll be playing.
Hello, everyone. I'm James, and I'll be playing Penton Jealous, a spell scale sorcerer. Having some fun with his size.
Yeah.
Lately.
Yep. There's only one thing that everyone needs to know, and that's Kaiju Fight!
Insert sound here.
Also with us tonight is Riley. Riley, tell us who you will be playing.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm playing Athora Greyfield, a tiefling fighter.
Indeed. We've got a couple of things to follow up with you on that tiefling fighter in just a moment. And also with us tonight is Lee. Lee, tell us who you will be playing.
G'day, everybody. My name is Lee, and I'll be playing Distant Bells, City Wrecker, and Kenkuro.
Perhaps.
Oh, no.
Perhaps. And also with us tonight is Dare. Dare, tell us who you will be playing.
Hello, everyone. I am Dare, and I am playing Tix Birchmanson, paladin who used to be a cleric.
Yes. He kind of still is a cleric, too, right? I mean...
Yeah, he multi-classed.
He's a multi-classer, but he's focusing on his paladin-ness.
He's the big shiny. He's the short big shiny.
So change your name to Corbin Dallas. Corbin Dallas Multiclass.
Oh,
There you
good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Multi-class.
Yes, so Izzy is unable to join us tonight, so we will hopefully catch up with her in a later episode. When we last left our players, a whole bunch of stuff happened, most particularly a giant Cthulhu-like kraken that had been infected with a illithid, with a mind flayer, had threatened the city. The players were charged with bringing the completed Staff of Seraphim and laying it on the oldest tomb in Kalimfor. To save time, they had 1 month to complete this task. They split up. They split the party up, which is always a good idea. Tix and Athora, you followed a strange and creepy trail, which led you into an impossibly large graveyard where you found a very famous tomb that may in fact be the oldest tomb in Kalimfor. You also found a really cool shield, and you also found a amazing sword for Athora.
Woohoo!
La la.
In addition to that, we also had Penton. James went on a adventure in Massgate, where you reunited with your lady love Scald.
Oh, yeah.
Along with the slightly mad illusionist Thralaville. And you went on a mission to recover Audrey 3. Doing so, you defeated a prowling demon and also had a Kaiju Fight!
Insert sound here.
And also found some incredibly rare ore that Scald and the miners may be able to make good use of. And last but certainly not least, Merezi and Distant Bells went to the racist town of Kalimfor.
No, we didn't.
I'm sorry.
We had this problem in last record as well. He even said he completely mixes up the names every single time.
Just jump back forth in my head, and I'm going to leave that in there because it's too funny. Went to Zental Keep. I still had trouble saying it. Went to Zental Keep, and where you were intercepted by the Conclave of Gods who created the Staff of Seraphim. They told you that Zental Keep was doomed, and that you could only save 2 souls. And there was never a question in the mind of Distant Bells. Oh, I should say, you also went with your sister, Hummingbird Wingbeats. You were successful, but at great cost. And that, speaking of that cost, you have gotten indication from various magical means. Penton, you have returned with Audrey 3. And you made sure to feed her first. You told me that, right?
Yes.
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 You were able to work at, and also as Scald said, I can cover you the cost of a cow. I'm doing pretty well right now, and the amount of money that you just made me cannot actually be put into easy terms. So I think we can spot you a cow.
Well, I appreciate that.
You returned a nice full Audrey 3, and you have met up with Tix and Athora. Athora, this little cat has bonded with you. This cat that you saved when the ship was destroyed by the, what were we calling it, Penton? The Cracklithid?
The Cracklithid, yes.
The Cracklithid destroyed it with a single spine from its back. And during your very impressive display of ice, one of the things that was rescued, first by you and then revived by Tix, was a small orange cat with 3 black stripes on its forehead and a black ending tail. And it has just absolutely bonded to you, Athora. I'm not going to put you on the spot at the moment, but I am curious if you have a name for it. I want you to start thinking about that.
Garfield.
Yes, Garfield is definitely the way to go. May I suggest the more eclectic Heathcliff?
No.
But you
Do
have
you want to bore people?
bore people to death. No, look, he's eating the fish, and then the skeleton comes out. It's great.
It's gonna be Catra. Telling you now.
Catra, let it be, and so shall it be.
Hey, Adora.
Catra, it is. It actually does have. It can have mismatched eyes if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Okay, mismatched eyes is canon. Not that I watched all of those or anything.
I based my D&D character completely off Athora's sword and everything. It's named Athora. I mean, Catra.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Then let it be so. You all have gotten a sort of a psychic vibe that Distant Bells and Morezi are going to be returning. You are out on the square where you first teleported, and Thralaville is there with y'all, along with some of the other members of the Wings of Woe. The others have actually scattered off to on various missions at Hummingbird Wingbit's requests, but now the air is beginning to pulsate, vroom, 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 and something is beginning to form in front of you.
Oh. I suggest we step back.
That's a good idea. I won't make you make a reflex saving throw right now, but suddenly something appears, and it is not what you were expecting. You were expecting the large, beefy form of Morezi Mugra, the lithe form of Hummingbird Wingbeats, perhaps the monk, but in steps through the zombified body of Distant Bells.
What?
He steps through, and he is
Oh my.
100% a zombie. What sound comes out of his mouth, Lee?
Brains.
Grains.
There was a Night of the Living Dead revival in Zental Keep a few years back, and just this perfect, Shakespearean voice projecting. You hear a brain.
Oh, no. I said grains because he's a bird.
He's a bird.
He's a vegetarian.
There you go. Brains.
Well, Penton's going to take a defensive stance just in case. He's seen stranger things in his days, but he's not going to assume that everything is okay.
Tix will be preparing to turn undead
Okay.
and is quite flabbergasted.
And Athora?
I pull out my sword and yet don't know what to do. Kind of surprised.
So you're all ready positions. And then Distant Bells, what will you do?
I'm going to look around for my companions.
So Morezi is not there. However, a moment later, y'all see another form appear, and a one right after that. It is the horrifying zombified form of an elf woman that you have never seen before, and a small elf child, half-elf child, holding owlbear, a stuffed owlbear, somehow managing to look adorable as a zombie.
Recently repaired owlbear,
yes, with the head stitched back on. And they step out from behind her.
Bells kind of reaches down and pats the head of the little one.
Okay, then she looks up at you and she goes, "Rah! Brains!"
Bells like, "Man!"
And she starts laughing. And at this point, y'all get the idea that perhaps all is not as it seems. So Riley, Athora and Tix, which of you had hold of the crystal ball?
I did.
Okay. So it is a little unwieldy. I said that it's not small. It's about the size of like a head. So like maybe soccer ball sized. But perhaps you did have it in your backpack at this moment, and you hear kind of like a whoom, whoom sound coming from the crystal ball.
Huh. I pull it out.
Okay. And there is a green mist that swirls in there, and then suddenly coming into focus is the face of Gorluin. That is the necromancer that y'all had met outside of Zental Keep.
Oh, yeah.
Who also had communicated with Tix and Athora during their last adventure. Is Distant Bells there?
"Man!"
Oh, yes, I see. Okay, good. And Osfalar and Petniak, they are through, correct?
There are people here. Ish.
Yeah, and they're like the mother and the child are brainsing at each other and blah, blah, at each other and just laughing uproariously. They look truly horrifying. I mean, there's just skin falling off, like the one eye's hanging out. It is truly upsetting, and they are just cracking up laughing.
Can I like try and see if this is like some sort of illusion or something? Kind of see through what's going on.
Yeah, give me an Arcana check.
I'm starting to wonder. 25.
25. It's weird because they are undead, but they are at the exact same time definitely not undead. So what you can tell is that they are under the influence of magic, and unsurprisingly, necromancy.
Yeah, because I'm starting to wonder whether the necromancer didn't make them look like they're undead.
Yes.
For whatever reason, I can't imagine what.
That is what you are starting to surmise, and Gorluin is quickly trying to explain to y'all. Well, you see, they needed to get back to you very swiftly, and I actually do not possess the ability to simply teleport them. However, I do have the ability to teleport the dead, and while they are not dead, if I cast seeming of undeath upon them, it will allow me to transport them.
Well, that's convenient.
It's a workaround.
Yeah.
One small thing, I'm having a slight issue with the young orc woman. She's a little dead at the moment. But don't worry, I've got everything under control. It's just the spell is not really meant to teleport actual living creatures, and I've never used it in this way before. And she's just a little dead right now. She's not completely dead. She's just
mostly dead.
Mostly dead. Yes, exactly. As you know, that is a big difference. So I'm going to get her fixed up, and then I will send her on her way.
Sounds like we need a miracle worker.
So I wish you all the very best. I'm going to get back to this so that she does not begin to decay or anything. But you can communicate with me through this crystal ball. So I hope that it is helpful. She turns to you, Distant Bells, and she goes, "Please be safe."
Did she explain how long this would last before we left?
It actually lasts for an hour. or you can cancel it at will.
Okay.
And you look terrifying. Like, you look straight up zombie. Like, there is like a hole in the side of your beak, and you can see the tongue like lapping about, and your fur, your feathers are falling off in patches, and just like, it's really unsettling to see.
Bells sort of looks at his two companions and kind of and chooses not to drop it. He's going to let it ride.
Okay.
This is fun.
So, Bells, I would like you to make a reflex saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Oh no, reflex.
I know it's your worst.
How
I'm sorry. What I
terrible.
meant to say was Ticks. I want you to make a No, I'm just kidding.
I am not laughing.
I'm having a ball. 26.
26. You are just, and suddenly a dagger just comes flying by your head, and you, using your incredible reflexes, zip out of the way as it into the wall next to you. And,
Oh no! It's a fast zombie.
and you see the magistrate Ulfar, Onyxword. Ulfar is how y'all know him, running up towards y'all. He's always kind of worn this. He has kind of like an Old West vibe to him. He has kind of almost like a duster, and he's thrown back the duster, and you see that he's got a crisscross of knives, like a brace of knives, and he's already got 2 more that he's getting out, and he's running towards you with murder in his eyes. And there is an older human woman with a cane walking behind him, and she's going, what?
Yeah.
You gonna keep doing it?
His Bell steps in front of his two companions. Shaking his head.
Okay.
Tix will interject himself between Distant Bells and the woman and the girl, and motion for, what was his name again?
Ulfar.
Ulfar to stop.
Okay. Let me see. If you could make a diplomacy roll.
Okay, I can do that.
And then a reflect. No, I'm just kidding.
Diplomacy, that puts me at 26.
26. So he is literally bringing the knife around to throw around you. And he sees like the intent in your eyes, and he stops. There are magistrates who like are somebody's rich uncle's appointment, and then there are magistrates who like clearly used to be adventurers and decided to settle down. He clearly seems to be in that category. This is a guy who knows what he's doing, but he stops. His knife is still raised, and he's looking down at you, Tix.
Everything is not as it appears, I promise.
Clearly.
We've just been reunited with Distant Bells, and we have word from a friend. They are not zombies, but this is basically like, imagine it like an illusion, a disguise spell.
I see. That is highly irregular.
Bells kind of looks around, looks at all the graves around, and points and like,
So a point, just so you're aware, all of the graveyard is behind a wall, so you can't see it from right here. But you certainly can gesture where the graves are.
It's Kalimvor, City of the Dead.
Well, my Kalimvor is a little different in that the actual
Necropolis
is separate. There's actually a wall that Tix and Athora went through earlier. Specifically to get to the necropolis, but you do know where it is.
Yeah, it's the City of the Dead, not the City of the Walking Dead.
Yes, well, and he does say something to that end of like, we are mighty suspicious of the undead here. You can imagine being famous for a necropolis means that you also get your fair share of the Walking Dead.
Bells kind of and just drops it. He's like, It was fun while it lasted.
There's like a click, click, click of a tapping of a cane, and a very regal older woman comes there. Black hair shot through with gray, stops to look at you, Athora, and goes, "Greetings, young lady. May I have your name, please?"
I'm Athora.
Thora, it is a pleasure to meet your acquaintance. And you, sir, you fine sir. She gestures to you, James.
Hello, my name's Penton. Who might you be, ma'am?
Very kind of you to ask, young man. I am Alderman Bezrabajan. Alderman Bezrabajan at your service.
Penton bows a little.
Ulfar turns back and he goes, the alderman and I were discussing some details for the upcoming special ceremony that we had discussed before, and making sure everything is as it should be. And that's when I suddenly saw a Walking Dead downtown and became rather concerned. Also, I was actually intending to make your acquaintance, Mr. Distant Bells. This is Alderman Bezrabajan. She is one who has a kinku in her employ.
Bells inclines his head and kind of turns to the Osfalar and Petniak and sort of like, if they haven't already, sort of urges them to maybe drop the zombie act.
Okay, and Osfalar turns to like, "Oh no, not now, honey, not now." And she's like, "Oh yeah," and then drops it. And they all bow to the alderman. She says, I certainly welcome all of you. Ulfar has told me of the fine things you've already done for the city and the efforts that you have made to help us against this terrible beast that appeared. By the way, it's been about 1 week since then. Because
I can still feel the rug burns on both my knees.
It's been.
I was wondering if someone was going to make that joke or not. I want y'all to remember this. You have been tasked with bringing the completed Staff of Seraphim and laying it upon the oldest tomb in Kalimvor. Tix and Athora, you think that y'all may have found that. Penton, you have returned with Audrey with half of the Staff of Seraphim, the other half, of course, being fake.
Uh-huh.
There is only one other thing missing, and that is the other half of the Staff of Seraphim. The reason that y'all came to Kalimvor, primarily, was that it was rumored to be the last place that Taka the monk had been, and that Taka the monk had the Staff of Seraphim. That was how the artificer was able to make all of the fakes. Was he copied them from the original. And then Taka took the original, and he believes that Taka had come here to Kalimvor. So you now have 3 weeks to find the other end of the staff or make other arrangements before the Kraken returns.
You'd think Taka would have brought this up last time we saw them.
Well, to be fair, when you and Taka last met was during the flashback, and that was when you first became the court magician of the Kingdom of Beltrain, which very soon after led to the original quest that you and the princess, and several others, of course, went on to retrieve the staff, which then eventually led to the sundering and breaking of the staff and the beginning of Chafing Arbor. So the last time you met Taka was before the staff had been broken.
Okay. I think, all right, I realized, I think I was thinking of the little side quest with Taka and Cackle.
Yes. And the last that the listeners, our intrepid listeners who've been with us and patient with us for so long, the last that we saw was that Cackle actually had the other half of the Staff of Seraphim being pursued by Taka, being pursued by a powerful undead. And that was the last we, the listeners, had actually seen the staff.
Interesting. All right, so I fill the others in on our run-in with the Hunger Ghost and the White in the oldest tomb of Mordecai.
And I'm sorry, just so that the pedants is the tomb of Mordekainen.
Mordekainen.
A name that is so old. It is actually very reminiscent of Bigsby. That it is so old, it is practically just legend.
It's almost like the guy who invented the spell book.
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
That he is this, as I've said many times. Chafing armor. The world is very old, and like you have no idea if that character is even real or not. But if he did live, it would have been thousands of years ago.
Well, we found his tomb, and it seems to be intact. So we need to figure out how to track down the other half of the Staff of Seraphim. Does anybody have any ideas where our wayward monkey man might have hidden it away?
By the way, Michael, apologies. I just realized we had a prisoner.
Yes, you do. So I 100% leave it up to you. Do you want to have the prisoner sent through in the same fashion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. I will say that for the purposes of narrative, that there was a delay. Like she was going to send Merezi, and then Merezi sort of died, and she was like, "Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Okay, now it's your turn." And the guy's like, "Ah!" And so after a moment, you get a glow from the crystal ball. It tells you that the prisoner is coming through, and the area begins to glow. An undead human comes through. He is tightly bound. He is gagged, and some of you recognize him. Well, I'm sorry, actually, all of you vaguely recognize him. Do you remember Athora when someone had painted devil horns on Audrey when you were in Zental Keep? There was a man that came by and he said, I'm really sorry that they treated you so badly, and I don't agree with what they said.
Right.
It was just a very average-looking, bald human. That is he. Except for that he is, horribly undead-looking at the moment. This is Zalavor. This is the cult leader of Cancer Chrome.
The symbol should be on him somewhere, too.
Yes, I will go ahead and say for simplicity that he has a iron chain necklace, and at the center is the eye with the jagged scratch through it.
Bells kind of looks to the rest of them and goes, "I bought you a present."
Was he the one that hired the group to kill us?
Yes.
Or is that somebody else?
No, you are 100% correct. This is the man who hired Hummingbird Wingbeats. Hummingbird has not come through, but that is because her party is actually going to beat up elsewhere. They are going off to basically get allies and get help and see what else can be done in this fight to spread the word, to try to keep war from breaking out, for one, and also to see if there's any allies that they can bring to this conflict.
He's also the dude that tried to hire me to kill Osakai, so...
Yes, this is the man who hired both Distant Bells in Inaskir, and Inaskir was actually the one who killed Osokai.
Right.
Interesting.
So this guy has a lot to answer for, and Bells kind of walks up and just kind of kicks him in the back of the knee, so he's kneeling again, even zombified, and he's just like, how does the spell work? Like, do you just think it off, or
yeah, it's literally just like canceling illusion. I mean, invisibility. You just will it off.
Bells leans down and goes, "You could turn it off now."
He slowly raises his head up to you. He's a little beat up. You and Hummingbirds haven't been super gentle with him.
He might be a little singed too.
Yeah.
He has no eyebrows left. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's true. It's true. That's right. He did catch Hellas Rebuke right in the face.
Oof.
And from an undead Inaskir. Yeah, he's looking pretty rough. And he does cancel the spell. And now he just looks like a very beat up human male, bald, with wearing cultist robes.
Bells kind of gives him a kick and then just walks off and stands with the rest of the party.
I'm going to walk up to him and kind of crouch down by his, face, and say, "So you were the one who killed Osakai, huh? Just in case you were thinking about trying to get out of your bonds, let me take care of that. And he's going to have some of that platinum liquid well up on his finger, and just drop some drops into like one of the cuts on his face or what have you. And he'll take a d6 of dex damage.
Oh
Wow.
And as I have said
I
before,
rolled a 4 on that, so
a 4. Okay. I was going to roll the damage, but then I realized, of course, you should. I have said before that Penton is a little bit like Spider-Man, where he's normally very jovial and friendly, and then every once in a while, it's just kind of like, oh, damn, man, you spooky. And y'all see kind of draconicness come out of his fingers just a little bit as it wells up and burns into the man's face, and he screams. Pet actually averts her eyes a little, but
I was about to say Bells kind of covers Pet's eyes with one of his hands. It's like, oof.
yeah, but
it doesn't really do like damage, but it kind of like the silvery liquid just kind of like spreads like a poison would, the black lines going across his face, that sort of thing, but it's silver.
Yep, and you can see his like jerkiness as his muscles tense up, and his dexterity is massively dropped.
Bells will take this opportunity to approach the magistrate and with Osfalar and Pedniak, and it's just like, do we have anywhere we can keep these two? They are the last survivors of a destroyed city. I would have
Perks up at that information.
Bells kind of looks back and is just like, yeah. But then turns back and is like, could we get them a bath and some accommodations or something? They've been through quite a lot over the last 24 hours.
Alderman Bashan comes forward and goes, "Of course, they shall stay at my residence. I will see to their every need, and they will be attended to."
And Bells turns to them and goes, "Is that good for you two?"
They kind of like, I mean, they're still a little shell shocked, and by the way, Osfalar did not look away when you did that, Penton, because she was just recently kidnapped by this man and was going to be sacrificed along with her daughter.
Oh dear!
And so she is.
So she's into it.
Yeah, she is. She just looks steadily on. Just.
Bells looks at him, looks at her, nods to her, and sort of nods to Penton and everyone else, and in the kind of a, if you want to get the boot in, I don't think anyone's going to stop you. Just don't kill him.
Okay.
That's to Osfalar if she wants to, get her own back for the potential murder of herself and her child.
At that moment, your backpack flies open, and you don't know how because he couldn't get out before. But as you correctly identified earlier, the pseudo-dragon, Duzron, comes flying out. He goes, it's so good to be back. And Gorluin told you that if he stayed inside the backpack, that the teleportation should work. That it should not recognize him as a living being because of the nature of your backpack. It's so good to be back. I gotta check in. I got all kinds of stuff to do. And also there's a small matter of my payment.
Bells inclines his head and, with a hefty sigh, takes out the large platinum figure. Is it still in the shape of that thing, or has it gone back to looking like a kangaroo?
When you pull it out, it looks like a kinku again. And as you hold it out, it glows slightly, and it turns into the image of that vulture creature.
And Bells just hands it to him and says, as promised, the contract is fulfilled.
It is a pleasure doing business with you. You can check me out at the marketplace. If you got any magic items that you want to sell, just come check me out. I work with this elf guy.
Bells inclines his head and returns to what he was doing.
All right. He very happily flies away. He wants to be done with y'all, but he does indicate that he does work out of the marketplace.
Penton's going to walk up to Bells and say, I assume by town you mean Zental Keep?
Bells sort of
This
looks
destroyed town?
looks him dead in the eyes and goes, "Where?"
Oh, So it's gone.
He nods. Oh, it's gone.
I hope. Did the Temple of Tamora survive? I don't know if they were on the outskirts or if they were actually in town.
The answer to that would be no. Distant
Bell sort of looks at you and goes, "It's a hole in the ground.
Ouch.
Those two are the only survivors."
Okay, Penton's a little unsettled by that.
I can tell you the story later. We have work to do.
Tix would very much love to hear that story.
So we have the arduous task of finding a monkey monk
Well,
somewhere.
I was going to say, the alderman's been here for how long? Surely she would have been here when Taka came.
You can certainly ask her.
So, yeah, I mean, that would be Bell sort of like looking at Penton and say, would she have been here?
Good question. Alderman,
Yes?
would you, in your time here, have been familiar with an interesting character who seems a bit off in kind of a monkeyish kind of way, good with their hands and feet, by the name of Taka?
Oh, like a monk.
Yes.
Why, yes, I have. They came into town, oh goodness, several months ago. They're quite entertaining. They were the reports of various pubs and such of them performing acrobatics and such said that they were very interested in our necropolis.
They would be happening to have been carrying like a piece of a staff, or mention anything about that, or perhaps where they were going?
Well, I never spoke directly with this Taka. I did hear of them wielding a staff, but not like what you are describing.
Anybody else have a decent question?
I could use a bath.
You are most welcome to. Certainly, I believe y'all are staying with the blacksmith, and that is quite all right. But if you would like to come to my estate and all of you refresh yourselves and go for your next step in your journey, you are more than welcome to come to my estate. I welcome you all.
I do enjoy a good estate.
At your estate, do we have a suitable place to question our prisoner right here?
Well,
Does your estate have a dungeon?
I do not have a dungeon at my estate. However, I do have a unused cold room that is quite sturdy. You needed to use that, or of course,
And soundproof?
it's set apart. It's in a pot that's not regularly used, which is why it's empty. I am not unaware of the necessity of such things at times, and you get a gleam in her eyes, and it's, if you're one of the 12 most powerful people in a large city, you didn't become that way by being the nicest.
Yeah.
Tix makes eye contact with Xyler. What's his name?
Xylavor.
Xylavor. And smiles and says, "Yes, it might be good to have him away from where people can hear screaming." And Tix smiles.
Bells kind of takes a slide step away from the tiny little gnome man.
Like,
Yeah, just.
And I'm going to use intimidation on him right now,
okay.
just to prepare him for the questioning later, just to get his mind working. And that is a 20, not natural.
20. Okay. You see the color start to pale from his face, and he tries to kind of right himself, and he's very stiff from his dexterity damage. He says, this is all very unnecessary. I never said I wouldn't tell you what you wanted to know.
Oh, yes. Yes, you will. And Tix is quite aware that he remembers the previous encounters that Tix had in Zental Keep and Tix's reputation. So Tix just continues to smile. Yes, you will.
So, I don't need to do a play-by-play of a interrogation scene because reasons. But what I would want to know is, are all of y'all present at this? Does anyone not want to be present during this interrogation?
Tix, do you want to do good cop, bad cop?
Sure, that would be...
I'll do the good cop.
That will work out very well.
Bells will stay with Petniak.
Okay.
What Osfala wants to do, that's up to her. She'll probably want to be in the room, maybe. That's up to her.
She does want to, but she thinks that it's more important to, be with her daughter. And
that's
comfort
fair.
her, because, this has still been horribly traumatic for her daughter as well.
And they are a long way away from home. So
yeah,
it makes
kidnapped
sense.
and almost killed, and then the city destroyed, and now in a different place. This is a lot, and not to mention going and visiting the necromancer that she was told was evil, and getting teleported to another city. It's been a day.
It's fair.
It sure has. It's been a week.
Yeah, and the reason it's been a week is because it took y'all a little while to encounter Gorluin, and then get everything set up, and then teleport back here.
Right.
The other two, y'all other two were able to accomplish your missions relatively quickly, but you had a teleporter, and also yours was right here, Tix and Athora. One other thing, Athora, as Distant Bells is walking by you, suddenly something zips off. What would you describe your upper clothing, Distant Bells? Is that a jerkin you're wearing, or just...
Well, there's the cloak, and underneath is just some studded leather.
Okay, so literally one of the studs on the studded leather boop, pops off and flies over, and then suddenly a horrifying frog-like monster with little, almost vestigial wings appears in front of you, Athora. And it's like a recording, because it's not looking at you, it's looking just slightly to your right. And it
Help
says,
me, everyone, Kenobi. You're my only hope.
yeah, basically. and in a horrible frog-like tone, it says, "Tell her I did not attack. Tell her." And then it disappears.
Does Bells hear this?
Oh yeah. Y'all saw it. But it just
What
it was
was that?
Bells kind of face palms and was like, I knew it was too good to be true.
but nothing else seems to happen. It seems like it just was like a triggered message.
Bells retrieves his stud.
It's just laying on the floor.
He's like, you go ahead. I'm gonna go and get this fixed.
Okay. It's not. Which of y'all would like to make the roll to get answers from Xylovor?
Well, maybe Pint and I should confer for a moment. And
Yeah, well,
I thought
maybe we could do one person asks and the other person helps, so it's an advantage, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would definitely have advantage on this. There is no. Here's the thing. There is no way for him to not answer y'all, because he is mortal, and depending on how hard you ask, he's going to answer. This is for the quality of the answers.
okay.
I can cast guidance on Penton,
Okay.
and I think we should play bad cop, worse cop instead of good cop, bad cop, because you've already touched him with your silver fingers,
Right, and I could do it again.
and he knows that you're going to do things to him. And all I have to do is look and sound intimidating, because he's going on previous encounters. Unfortunately, because of my new status as paladin, I cannot necessarily be as exacting as I once was. So
Bells-
they have to just intimidate.
Bells interjects and said, if you can give me an hour, I can give you a truth serum.
Ooh.
Well, let's see how it goes, and we'll
I mean, he's not going
we'll
anywhere.
work on him for a while. He's not going anywhere. If it seems like we're having trouble, then That sounds like a grand idea.
Tix sidles over to Distant Bells and just smiles and says, "Yes, please."
Bells sidles away and nods slowly and says, I'll be back in an hour. And goes and makes a truth serum, because that was one of the things I got out of Baba Yaga's spellbook.
Baba Yaga.
Yep,
Nice.
it is. Also, there is a very well-appointed sort of apothecary on the estate for doing, like creating minor health potions and things like that, and salves and that sort of thing. So it is very, very useful.
Okay, I will roll a quick poison-making check.
Okay. Tix, how's your sense motive?
Sense motive is quite nice.
Okay.
That's a 22 on the check, so that it gonna work
Yeah, it is successful.
if they use it anyway.
Athora, this little Catra is, as I said, just, meow, just following you around everywhere. And I was just curious if there's anything you would do to bond with this creature.
Let's go buy some food for him.
All right, very, very good, very good. You make your way to the market, and there's plenty of people calling out wares, and there's lots of fish for sale. This is a dock town, but there's lots of other things. Is there anything particular you're looking for?
I put the little cat on my head, and watch and see if any of the fish catches her eye, and maybe look
Okay.
for a bracelet or a collar or a little bow or something.
Okay. There are. Give me just a quick roll and add any wisdom modifier.
Ha! That's a 19.
19. So you find it's what we would think of as a kiosk, like just a little place, and with the upcoming fair that's coming up, they have a special ceremony that's honoring the goddess Isis. There's lots of really festive, think like Mardi Gras, and so there's a lot of really fun bracelets and bows. So pretty much anything that you would want is there. It's all very garish. It's very bright, and a lot.
There's also a lot of calendars and some versions of Monopoly.
Yes, and there's also smoked meats and cheese for dads. Yeah. Anything particular you're going to pick out for her?
Anything bright pink and shiny.
Okay. Oh, there's definitely bright pink, and there's definitely shiny. There's an elderly woman who's there and goes, "Oh, yes, this is just delightful. I would love to. Oh, this is so fun." And is, helping you try them on. And when you think that she is annoyed by it, but what you really realize is she's locked in to a fish nearby, and she just leaps off. And in one movement, like you would imagine her landing on the table and then grabbing it and then going, she actually leaps and catches it in her mouth, and then boom, goes. And you see the fish vendor go, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's starting to head off after her.
Ah, come back! And I run after.
Okay. Well, he's running after too, because he just stole one of his fish that he's got. It magically cooled in his thing. And she is sitting in an alley, and she is just viciously eating this large sea bass.
Oh boy. How much was the fish?
That was 3 silver.
I pay him 3 silver for it.
Okay. He happily takes it.
Sorry for the trouble.
You pay him and turn around, and when you turn around again, Catra is gone.
What?
And I would like you to make a spot check.
That's a 5.
5. So this is a darkened alley.
What's
and-
a cat? What does a cat look like?
What is cat? And but there's nowhere for it to go. I mean, it could have like technically gone and like hid behind a crate or something, but there really isn't anywhere for it to go. And then from behind you, you hear, "Meow," and you turn around and there she is, just finishing her meal behind you.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah, that sounds
normal
like
for
a cat.
cats.
That sounds like a cat to me.
Yeah. It's no special ability. That's just what cats do.
That's just cat.
But she seems very happy with the fish, and she seems absolutely because some cats would be furious with you trying to put something on them, but she doesn't seem to mind at all. She just seems to ignore it. And that's with that fun little interview. Let's go back. Are you going to administer the truth potion?
Oh, yes. Yes, Tix is going to administer the truth potion because that is the best way to get the information out of somebody that is... well, let's do this right. Tix will check him to see if he is evil, using his detect evil.
He radiates evil.
Okay. Tix has no qualms about knowing that he would not answer truthfully if not and completely if not coerced. So gives a prayer to Garl Glittergold and makes him either drink or pours it down his gullet.
Yeah, you have to force it down his throat.
Pinches his nose, opens his mouth, makes him drink it.
Rubs his throat to make sure he swallows. Sorry, that's how you get a cat to swallow a pill.
It's true. I've done it.
And all the time, Tix is going to act very gleeful and just continue the intimidation. Oh, this is going to be fun. And, so...
Bells makes a mental note not to make any poisons for this man.
So I don't want to belabor, because obviously you have the cult leader who is behind a whole bunch of stuff. The number of questions you could ask him are endless. So for brevity's sake, are there any key questions that y'all especially want to ask him?
Is the name of your god written down anywhere that we can have access to?
Ooh.
You see that he really does not want to answer. Like, he fights. And he says, yes.
Where?
And now that it's started, like, he really can't stop. And his eyes raise up and he looks to the necropolis. And he says, it is written in the necropolis.
Be more specific.
Specifically where?
There is a hidden entrance in the tomb of Mordekainen. In order to enter, you must speak his name.
Do you know how to speak his name?
Yes.
Oh, goody. And so we're going to have to take this one with us to open the tomb. That will be interesting.
Or you could just get him to say the name in front of Bells.
Yeah, I was going to say. Good point.
Well, I wasn't sure whether or not the spell by the god would keep him from saying it in other places.
You are actually that is extremely insightful of you, Tix. That is actually what he tells you, is that you cannot say the name unless you are reading it from a few very rare places where it is written down.
Hold on, but if the name is inside the necropolis and you can't get in without saying the name, isn't that just unlocking the chest with the key that's inside? Because you can't read the name without reading it, and you need the name to get in, but the name is inside.
No, there's a door inside the tomb that leads to deeper and farther in.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the name is by the door, the secret.
Think
Okay,
about like
okay.
say friend and enter kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I messed up. I was like, hey, hang on, what?
When you're doing Mindscape stuff, it gets weird.
Or say failure wrong, that sort of thing.
Standing right next to Xylovor, I look at Penton and say, when it is time for us to go to the tomb, I suggest that you give him another touch so that he is more cooperative with us and we don't have to break out Destiny Seeker to coerce him.
Oh, that's a good point. I look at Xylophone and I say, I better be careful because I don't want to give him too much to the point where he'll seize up and stop breathing. Intimidation.
It is very successful because he's already experienced what you've done.
Yeah. Just for fun, that's a where's my intimidation? Oh, 24 on that.
Okay. He 100% believes that you would do that.
Okay, so we're going to tie him up, lock him up, and go get cleaned up and make a plan for going to the tomb of Mordekainen and retrieving the staff of Seraphim.
Yeah. No, pass this information along to Bells and Athora.
You pass that along, and very importantly, before I do, Bells, do you successfully take a bath?
I would hope so. Oh yeah, no, I was about to say the bath itself is like it's just water across the bottom of the bathroom, and he just kind of splashes in it like a bird bath.
And I
Do you have a big bowl somewhere?
It's not a bathtub. He doesn't get into a tub. He just kind of pours the water on the floor and just splashes around in it.
I want y'all to imagine that he's just totally puffed out. This totally puffed out.
Oh yeah, no, he is. His feathers are all wet and puffed up, and you know, if anyone walked past the door, they'd actually hear him happily singing a song. But hopefully, no one's walking past the door.
Yeah.
There's a delightful scene where you kind of come out from your area and you're, wrapped up in a towel, and there's little Petnak, and she's wrapped up, she's all clean, and she's laughing with her mom, and they clearly, both cleaned up. And
Bells has a towel on his head too.
yeah,
Yes,
for no
thank you.
reason, but of course it's there.
Absolutely.
He's seen it done and thinks that's just how you do it. So he's got the
was just
towel around his
complaining about
body
that earlier
and on his
today.
head.
For just a moment, all of you kind of turn towards the necropolis, and I want you to imagine Evil Dead vision as the camera just rushes forward to Mordekainen's tomb, and there are scrawls on a stone wall, and you hear a voice, and the voice is saying, "Come to me." And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor, episode 130. Thank you all for playing.
Pleasure as always.
I want y'all to know, I literally had no idea where this particular one was going to go. So I enjoyed all of the various choices that y'all made.
That was fun.
So
Happy to provide.
happy. So if some of y'all do some really fun art, if anyone would like to find y'all on the social medias, how would one do that?
I can be found most places at Dare Imagine on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
Wonderful. And Riley?
You can find me, One Princess Beast, on Instagram and Artfollow.
Thank you all for playing.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And to find out what's going to happen as they head towards the necropolis, tune in for episode 131. And until then, we will roll with you soon.